Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, titled Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening, text number 49. Alampata Sheeladharo Gunakaro Hrishta Parardhya Vyatitho Dukkhiteshu Abhuta Shatru Jagata Shokaharta Naidhakikam Tapamivodu Rajaha. Translation. He will be a virtuously qualified reservoir of all good qualities. He will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, distressed in others' distress, and will have no enemies. He will be a destroyer of the lamentation of all the universes, like the pleasant moon after the summer sun. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj, the exemplary devotee of the Lord, had all the good qualities humanly possible. Although he was the emperor of this world, he was not profligate. Beginning from his childhood, he was the reservoir of all good qualities. Without enumerating those qualities, it is said here summarily that he was endowed with all good qualities. That is the sign of a pure devotee. The most important characteristic of a pure devotee is that he is not lampata or licentious, and another quality is that he is always eager to mitigate the miseries of suffering humanity. The most obnoxious misery of a living entity is his forgetfulness of Krishna. A pure devotee, therefore, always tries to evoke everyone's Krishna consciousness. This is the panacea for all miseries. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
Prahlad Maharaj, being enumerated by Kashyapa Muni very much in advance, before he was even born. It is said here that he will be a virtuously qualified reservoir of all good qualities. He will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, distressed in others' distress, and will have no enemies. He will be a destroyer of lamentation of all the universes, like the pleasant moon after the summer sun. So Prahlad Maharaj, though he was a small boy, he picked up Krishna consciousness actually from within the womb of his mother, hearing about all these things from Vyasadeva, about the Transcendental Lord and his qualities and the spiritual world and the material world. So Prahlad Maharaj was fortunate to get this knowledge which is so valuable. The foundation of happiness, the foundation of Krishna consciousness, or foundation of being constitutionally situated in our own existence is spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge or transcendental knowledge is knowledge about the existence. There is so many different kinds of knowledge in this world. Universities or libraries are filled with books. Internet is full of knowledge, so many different kinds of knowledge. But there is a difference between that knowledge and this knowledge. This knowledge is about, it is called self-knowledge, spiritual knowledge, or existential knowledge. None of those universities, none of those subjects deal with the science of the self, who we are, why we are here, what is this inevitable birth everybody has to face, what is this inevitable death that everybody has to face, what is this old age that everyone has to go through without any choice. What are these laws? Who made these laws? So understanding all these things from the perfect source, God Himself, because our intelligence is all tiny. Every living entity's intelligence, their intellectual potency, their physical potency, physical strength, everything is nil. But the Lord is reservoir of all these things. He is a reservoir of all intelligence. He is a reservoir of all beauty. He is a reservoir of all knowledge, etc. So in the normal course, how man gets knowledge in this world is the ascending process of knowledge. That means with his own senses he studies this material world. And then he theorizes, makes hypothesis, verifies, and he learns something. Okay, this is the way it is. This is the law of gravity, etc. It's all ascending process, means he takes input through his gross senses and then he measures, and that's how he gains knowledge. Today most of the knowledge that we have in this world is the ascending process of knowledge. But there is another process called descending process of knowledge. Descending process of knowledge is knowledge which is coming from the perfect source who knows everything. That is also another way of gaining knowledge. Just like if you don't know something, someone who knows something will tell you and you will hear. Of course, you will verify it. In the same way, the Vedic system of gaining knowledge about the self is not the ascending process, but it is the descending process. The descending process is, there is a perfect source. Who is that perfect source? Just like we are tiny reservoirs of, or tiny receptacles of knowledge. I have little knowledge, you have little knowledge, he has little knowledge, everybody has little knowledge, drops of knowledge. But there is one person who is the reservoir of all this knowledge. That is God. So to get that knowledge about self from Him, that who I am, all these things, this is all the Vedic knowledge, scriptures, shastras, descended down. And then just like we learn something in our school, we first read the textbook, the hydrogen plus oxygen is water. Then you go to the laboratory and according to temperature, pressure, all the conditions mentioned, you mix 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen, and then you find get the evidence that it is equal to water. You learn, yeah, it's true. But even that begins by first having some faith in the person who wrote the textbook. Is it not? So in the same way, we need to have faith first before you verify something. You need to have first faith. How do you ascertain, how do you say, how do we determine whether to have faith in this or not? For that, naturally you look into the credentials. Oh, which is a layman has not written this chemistry textbook. Some professor has written. His qualification is written. Oh, this recognized by the university. So in the same way, identical system is there in the Vedic understanding. That there are luminaries, there are people who certify, there are persons who say that this is actually the sourced from such and such a place. The Vedas, everything connected to these scriptures. So, alright, that's not the end of everything. We take it up, just like chemistry textbook, we take it up and then we start verifying. What is this verifying? In the case of the chemistry, the verification is outside. You mix hydrogen and oxygen and then you get water and then you learn water is this, H2O is water. Suppose now the laboratory itself is this body, this mind, this self. The subject is not hydrogen and oxygen. The subject is this body, self. Then naturally, if you have to verify, then you have to subject your mind, body, everything to certain regulations. Then you will find the evidence. Just like in the, you cannot just simply mix 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen and get water. There is pressure, there is condition. You have to scientifically do it, isn't it? In the same way, the scriptures are given the conditions scientifically how actually one can experience one's true self beyond this body. The self is beyond this body. The self is undertaken a journey in this body from birth to death. Oh, is there anything beyond this body? Everything is body. Everything is matter. Body dies. I don't have existence. This can never be proved through our senses that there is something beyond this body, because the very fact that the soul is not material, it cannot be found by microscopes. That sense of eternal person who is there from childhood, even though the body is changing to middle boyhood, youth, old age, still, even though the body is completely changing, you still consider, I am the same person. Why? That is the soul. That is the self, the unchanging self. Even modern science has already found out in 7 years, all your cells are new cells. What cells are there in your body now does not exist after 7 years. That means entirely new matter has come, but still you call yourself a self. What is that self? That self is nothing but us. You're not this body, you're the self, the spirit, the conscious, aware, the person who is aware. Body is never aware. Body has no consciousness. Body has actually no sense of identity. Our sense of identity is shaped by the body, but the body is not our identity. We have a sense of identity. That sense of identity is eternal identity. And the nature of that identity is, it is full of knowledge, eternal existence and blissful. This is the nature of the self. As Prahlad Maharaj is saying here, the cause of all the distress, going to the root cause of all distress. So many miseries are there in this material world. The root cause of all miseries is our disconnection from the complete whole. The complete whole is Krishna. Just like this body is, you can say, compare this to a complete whole. And if I cut my finger and separate it from the body, what will happen? That piece will start rotting. Why? Because it's disconnected. In the same way, in this world, we are all disconnected from God. If you get connected back, there is no shortage of anything. Why? Because if you connect, take that finger, put it back, tie it, band-aid, you will see in few days, blood will start circulating and it will become healthy. In the same way, each one of our soul needs the blood of Satta, Chitta and Ananda. We are all constitutionally blissful. We are all constitutionally of a serving mood, not exploiting mood. Exploiting mood means selfish. Serving means sharing. It's a bigger principle. That sharing principle can go from small, from serving the, suffering humanity, to it can broaden and broaden and broaden. And finally, when it comes to surrender and service to the Supreme Lord, His wish and will, that is when one situates himself in complete peace, transcendental satisfaction. Otherwise, all other kinds of peace and happiness is illusory, is it not? Unless something is eternal. I am eternal. I want eternal peace. I want eternal happiness. I want eternal knowledge. Unless I get connected to something eternal, obviously I know I don't have that now. In the material world, all desires are nothing but deficit of Satta, Chitta and Ananda. Deficit of power, deficit of knowledge, deficit of happiness. And when we get connected to Krishna, when you connected to God, then automatically it is a matter to be experienced, because He is the supreme controller of everything. He is the creator of everything. And He has given the free will. The greatest thing is that we are all part and parcel of God. Being part and parcel of God, we have the same quality like God. God is infinitely free, unlimitedly free. Nothing binds Him. Everything emanates from Him. We are His part and parcel. Mamai vamsha jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana. As being part and parcel, we also have the same quality that God has got. What is that? Freedom. We all have our free will. When misuse of that free will creates miseries in this world, then one would say, why God created free will? God created free will because free will is wonderful. If you use it, it's wonderful. There cannot be love without free will. Anything forced is not love. So God does not want a relationship which is not of love. Okay. He's created. You can go on your trip of self-love. Use the entire existence, universe, everything for your happiness, for your pleasure, for your thing. Try it. As per that's law of karma. He created that law of karma. So the most valuable and the most wonderful thing in existence is a living entity and is free will. And that free will, when it is engaged in loving God, in loving relationship, with loving the complete whole, automatically we love every part. Just like we pour water in the root of a tree, water goes to the entire tree. So in the same manner, when we establish our connection with God, Krishna is not some sectarian Hindu god. The Shastras don't present Krishna in that manner. Krishna Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhurdam Sarvabhutanam, friend of all living entities. Then say, okay, it's some Hindu god. No, it's Krishna is Hindu god is, these are all different limitation that is put upon God. What does Shastra say? Who is Krishna? Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha. The supreme controller. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Sat Chit and Ananda Vigraha. Of eternity, knowledge and bliss. That is his nature. God's nature. Forget what Krishna we learn about through our culture. Go to the scientific understanding. You have to become a student of science. The science of the self, the science of the supreme self. Just like scientists ask questions, the same way we should ask questions. More questions we ask, and we go to the right source and pick up the answer and then understand it. That is the science of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not about blind faith. But at the same time, reasonable faith is required in every step to move forward in any study. So, Krishna, the understanding of Krishna is a complete person, just like we are tiny persons. The understanding of God presented in the scriptures and the Vedas is God who is unlimited in all the personal qualities that we have. If I can think, feel and will, God should be able to think, feel and will. If I can think, feel and will in a limited way, God should be able to think in unlimited way. And that is a simple understanding of God. Now scriptures say, Prabhupada explains, understand sample, we are sample God. Understand our own nature and then you'll understand God. Because we are we are a drop of, water in the ocean. If you analyze the drop, the nature of the drop, oh, it is salty, etc. You also understand the ocean. Only the ocean has got unlimited qualities. Similarly, we have capacity to love. God has got unlimited capacity to love. That's what Krishna demonstrated when he came 5,000 years back. And these are there's so much significance in all the leelas that Krishna performed. When 16,000 princesses were kept captive by an asura, and Krishna got a message, he went, he killed the asura and he liberated them. And those 16,000 princes, they said, now you have to marry us. So Krishna didn't say no. In those days, culture means, oh, you're out of the house for a night, then nobody will marry you. So the prince said, see, we are here, then now you are our husband. What did Krishna do? He did not say, no, I cannot. That's God. A person who is unlimited. He married all of them. And then Narada, after some time, he went to Dwaraka. He saw that Krishna had 16,000 palaces. And in each palace, he was dealing with the queen simultaneously. Each of those queens. This is the capacity of God. That means he expanded into 16,000 forms. And he gave his old self to each one of them. This kind of understanding of an unlimited person with unlimited personal qualities, never heard of in any other religion, because it's a very advanced religion, Vedic science, Vedic knowledge. Every other religion is catering to different sections of the society at different time, place and circumstances. But you see, the Vedic knowledge is so scientific, it was presented to Raja Rishis. Arjuna was a Raja Rishi. Bhagavad Gita was explained by Krishna to a Raja Rishi, very, intellectual. Not to fishermen, not to, common man. That level of knowledge is also there. Different scriptures, different religions are there. But this is something which is meant for intelligent people to understand and lead the society. And give directions to the rest of the population. That is our Vedic knowledge. Therefore, it is said that the Vedic knowledge that India has, not that the way it is now in a, it being exploited, misused, and all these things. See, misuse of something does not, just like if medical science is misused, doesn't mean medical science is wrong. In the same way, this spiritual science is misused in this age. But we need to understand that there is value in this, and that has to be disseminated. So India has a great responsibility, every Indian has a great responsibility, every intelligent Indian has a great responsibility to take trouble to understand this most powerful knowledge which can relieve the entire humanity from suffering. Unless one understands this science of the self, then one is always short-circuiting his life. I told you, just like you cut the finger is separated from, and it will sit and rot. So therefore, we are always having a life of complete deficit in this material world, everybody. There is a life where there is actually only positive desires. There is no desires to fill your deficit. There is a life of spiritual life, which is life of positive desires. How to create, how to expand everything. That is wonderful Krishna consciousness. So that is what here Prahlad Maharaj's great quality is, that he was able to give Krishna consciousness to everyone who came, who of course he became a king, and anyone under his, every subject under that king was having that opulence of being connected to the complete and experiencing that Krishna consciousness of being constitutionally situated. We are right now like a fish out of the water. Fish will never be happy outside the water. It has a constitutional position in the water. Its constitutional position is to be in water. Similarly, the constitutional position of that soul beyond this body that we have is actually to be with the Lord, to be in association with the Lord, to serve the Lord. And the Lord is unlimited. The type of service that He has is unlimited, varieties and varieties. And it's so wonderful to be connected to the Supreme Lord and engage in His loving service. And that is what Krishna consciousness is all about. The person who serves also enjoys his constitutional bliss, eternal bliss, a bliss beyond birth, death, everything. Jai Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada.